Hi guys, it's Arielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today is part 3 of my weight loss and health journey covering weeks 7 to 9. If you've missed part 1, which is weeks 1 to 3, or part 2, which is weeks 4 to 6, then I'll leave them linked down below so you guys can check them out. And I do just want to quickly mention that I'm going to finish this weight loss and health journey on my main channel. But going forward, if you are interested in that type of content, then you should definitely subscribe to my second channel, which is Get the Margaritas. And I will leave that link down below in the pinned comment. Now, as a reminder, I started this journey at 177 pounds with a BMI of 24.5, a body age of 29, and a body fat percentage of 26.8. By the end of week 3, I was down to 167.9 pounds, a body age of 28, a BMI of 23.3, and a body fat percentage of 24.9. By the end of week 6, I was down to 163.5 pounds, a body age of 27, a BMI of 22.6, and a body fat percentage of 23.9. Here's what all 3 weigh-ins looked like so you can have a visual representation of what it looks like to lose a total of 13.5 pounds over the course of 6 weeks. Now, I'm very excited to show you guys where I ended up at the end of week 9, but let's start it off by backing up to week 7. Welcome to my week 7. I am very sick. Basically, I started my week with a cheese tasting, and part of this cheese tasting included standing inside a cheese fridge for over an hour and then going down into a humid cave to taste the cheese. So by Sunday, I was so very sick. Okay, I just finished about 45 minutes on the walking pad. I got in 5,000 steps. And this is the first day this week that I have even gotten on this walking pad. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I'm a little bit sick. I actually got really sick on Friday, and I've missed 2 workouts so far this week, so I really don't want to miss tonight's workout. I'm going to try and make it, but yeah, it's just been a rough start to the week. I feel so tired all the time. By Saturday afternoon, I was unwell. I did not make it to that workout. And I didn't make it to a single other workout this week. Like, the couch was really my only friend. Before I got really sick though, I was able to make it to a boxing workout, which I actually doubled because I was feeling so motivated. So instead of 1 hour, I did a 2-hour session. And my food was pretty normal at the start of the week. I had the cheese that we bought from the tasting, of course, and my breakfast included cottage cheese, oats, and Greek yogurt as per usual. And then for lunch on Friday and Saturday, I had this really yummy cucumber, rice, avocado, and shrimp oat, which was so good and so filling. I highly recommend this recipe. I'll leave it linked down below. Just as a quick FYI, it is really high in calories because of the rice and the avocado. And not that that's a bad thing, but I do tend to eat this cucumber shrimp boat on days where I know that I have a more intense workout, like a 2-hour boxing session. Jean did some grocery shopping and made me my favorite chicken salad, which I also had for leftovers the next day. And I also still had my baked oats for breakfast. And because I cooked them in advance, it was really handy. I didn't go without eating while I was sick because I already had my breakfasts cooked. My snacks this week up until Wednesday were raw veggies, a tea and 1 cookie, popcorn with salted butter, apricots, toast with honey, and a cappuccino. Then Tuesday night rolled around and we made a really simple apéro board for dinner, which included veggies, sardines, cured meat, mozzarella sticks, some baguette, and olives, all of which I portion controlled to stay at a calorie deficit. The reason why we had such a chill and simple apéro board for dinner on this night is because Wednesday morning, we woke up really early to go on a little 24-hour vacation to Etretat. So on Wednesday morning, we woke up really early, we had our oat bake, and then we hit the road for 8 hours. This was terrible. With all the holiday traffic, the drive that normally takes 2 hours and 30 minutes took 8 hours. So needless to say, I spent most of my day in a car. We also had lunch on the road. We stopped at a highway rest point. And let me tell you, the highway road stop food points suck. There is nothing that tastes as bad as the food on a French highway. We found these chicken and cheese wraps that Jean and I split, and also some kettle corn. Jean loves kettle corn and he was driving, so I was like, you should have a treat. And then the second place we stopped had a salad bar, and I got one of these poke bowl salads. And honestly, it tasted terrible. And I say that as someone who is not a picky eater at all, so I only ate half of this poke bowl salad. Once we picked up our lunch, we got back in the car and then finally arrived at Etretat later on in the afternoon. We really hadn't intended on arriving so late into this beautiful coastal town. So as soon as we got to the hotel, we dropped our bags and headed out to try and find a restaurant. We were so hungry. And we ended up settling on this crepe place where we had galettes and crepes for dinner. A galette is the savory version of a crepe, by the way. And we also had a side of fries and a salad with our meal. We were literally starving after that bad highway food. And then for dessert, we got sweet crepes. I got a caramel speculoos crepe and Jean got a strawberry and whipped cream crepe. Because we spent the whole day in the car, we really needed to stretch our legs after dinner, so we left the restaurant and hiked up to watch the sunset from the cliffs, which is the only exercise I got on this day. And we ended up going to sleep pretty early because the next morning we woke up with the sunset and hit the boulangerie for some croissants, and then hiked all the way back up the cliffside for a morning walk. And we ended up enjoying breakfast along the way. Once we were done with our hike along the cliffs, we walked through a fancy garden in Etretat, which was absolutely beautiful. And then at noon, we set out to find some picnic food so that we could enjoy our lunch on the beach. We picked up some cheese and roasted veggie sandwiches, and then, as you guessed it, we continued hiking for probably another hour to actually get to the beach where we wanted to picnic. We didn't end up swimming because the water was freezing, but our picnic in this little cove was really nice. We had fruits, sandwiches, radishes, and this little bag of crunchy, salty cracker things. After lunch, we hiked some more along the cliffside for probably another hour, and then we got back in the car and headed home. Not to turn this into a travel vlog, but I do think it's important to include this mini vacation to Etretat because I think I did a really good job of balancing my health journey with enjoying myself while I was on vacation. To give you some examples, I didn't count any calories as soon as I got in the car, not when we were driving, not in Etretat. I didn't log anything into MyFitnessPal. I didn't log my exercise. The only exercise I did do was walking along the cliffs. And I think that's ultimately what works best for me, is that when I'm on vacation, when I'm out at a restaurant, I will order what I want to eat and I'm gonna do the activities that I want to do because that's a treat. It's an experience that I'll do once in a while. And that's what I mean when I say that the reason I'm successful, I think, in my weight loss journey is that I'm really keeping moderation in mind as opposed to complete restriction. Good morning, you guys. Welcome to week 7 weigh-in. I think before I even step on the scale, I already know the results of this week. I feel like I maybe gained a little bit of weight or maintained the same weight as last week. For me, at least, as I'm going through this weight loss journey, I feel like I'm very in tune with the changes that are going on in my body because the changes happen so frequently, almost like every single day. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on the scale and officially get the weight. As a reminder, I weighed in at 163.5 last week. $163.5. I told you, I could feel it. There you have it. Same as last week. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones. I'm not disappointed. I'm happy to be feeling better. I'm happy that I enjoyed a wonderful couple days with Jean, and I'm excited to head into week 8. I'll also quickly add that my BMI and body fat percentage stayed the same at 22.6 and 23.9 respectively. Welcome to my week 8. Before I get into the recap, I do just want to quickly mention that once I got back from Etretat, I got back into the habit of tracking all my food, of tracking all my exercise, counting my calories, and logging every single thing in the app MyFitnessPal. To show you guys what this looks like, here's the app. I start every day with a base of 1,200 calories, but every time I work out, I add those calories back on. So for example, my boxing workout burns approximately between 400 and 500 calories. So all those calories that I burn are added back into the total amount that I eat in a day. Here's an example for you. This day isn't complete, but it is a good example. I log my breakfast, then my lunch, my dinner, my snacks throughout the day, as well as all my exercise. And what's really cool is that you can also get into the details and macros of your diet as well. Overall, MyFitnessPal really does work for me. I find it very helpful, and I also find it a little bit educational. I really enjoy being able to input all of my foods and see the breakdown of everything that I'm eating. And this is something that's really helped me because when it comes to sugars, for example, prior to this whole weight loss journey, I was addicted to sugar. Like, I'll say that I loved junk food, not just candies, like chips, chocolates, cake, everything. I devoured it, and I devoured it without even a second thought. But now when I log things and I see that so-and-so has this crazy amount of sugar or fat or sodium or cholesterol, I think twice about it, and I readjust the way that I think about enjoying that treat. Like, I'm not saying I cut out the treat, but I will maybe have the treat, or I'll make sure that I have an appropriate sized portion and I won't overeat. Whereas overeating was definitely my problem before. A great example is if I ever bought a bag of chips or a box of cookies, I would eat the entire thing in one setting, and that's not even close to moderation. That's not even close to a healthy portion size. And so being able to actually see what's in your food, specifically treats for me, I found to be very, very helpful in my weight loss journey. Now, back to my week 8, my first breakfast and dinner were very sad looking because we just gotten back from Etretat and we had nothing in our fridge or freezer. So banana and breaded zucchini it is. But we did make a trip to Costco and a huge grocery store haul pretty early on in the week so that we could stock up. And we got lots of fresh veggies and fruits. For protein, I grabbed some canned tuna and canned sardines, as well as some steak, which is kind of rare. We don't eat a lot of steak at home, so it's a nice treat once in a while. And we also grabbed some cheese like feta cheese, cottage cheese, mozzarella, and goat cheese. I also made sure to prep my overnight oats early on in the week. That way I would have breakfast for the whole week. Okay, so I just put dinner in the oven. We're having potatoes, eggplant, asparagus, and steak with tzatziki. It's kind of a random mix. But while everything's in the oven, I thought I could take a second and show you guys how I make my overnight oats, my tiramisu overnight oats. I got so many Instagram DMs and comments asking me for the recipe, and it's so easy. You just need 50 grams of oats for each serving size. You need vanilla, maple syrup, Greek yogurt, chia seeds, and cocoa powder. So you're gonna start with 50 grams of oats in your bowl. And you're gonna add 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. I'm making 2 servings, that way, I don't know, that way it's already prepared. It's kind of annoying to have to make it every single night, so it's nice to just have a couple in the fridge. And then I also make my apple baked oats. I give that to Jean, like he's not a fan of coffee, so I also make the apple oat bake, and both of them together keeps us fed every breakfast for probably like 4 days. Then you're gonna add a tablespoon of cocoa powder. I forgot the almond milk, just a sec. For the liquids, you need about 90 milliliters of almond milk or whatever milk you want to use. And then on top of that, I add 2 shots of espresso, which you can change depending on how much you like coffee. I love coffee, so I really like to make it strong. But yeah, so 90 mils of almond milk. And to that, I'm gonna add 2 shots of espresso each, not to each bowl. Then you add 1 teaspoon of maple syrup and half a teaspoon of vanilla. This is the swampy goodness that it'll look like. It definitely looks very liquidy, but overnight the oats and the chia seeds will absorb all the liquid, so it becomes thicker. Okay, so you can set those aside while we make the icing. I say icing because to me it tastes like a healthy version of a cream cheese icing, and cream cheese icing is my absolute favorite. So that's why I'm so addicted to these oats, because it incorporates coffee and this cream cheese icing flavor that I adore. So each of the tiramisu overnight oats needs 120 grams of Greek yogurt, so I'm gonna double that. I'm gonna put in 240 grams. And to that mixture, I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. And you can change the quantities if you want less or more sugar. By all means, do what makes you happiest. In total, I have about 280 grams, so it's 140 in each. And if you want the real tiramisu effect, you can also dust a little bit of cocoa powder on top. And this is the final product. I'm gonna add their lids, I'm gonna put them in the fridge, and by tomorrow they should be good to go. So I had tiramisu oats for 2 days, and then after they were finished, I ate the apple oat bake with Greek yogurt for breakfast with Jean. And then when all the overnight oats and baked oats were done, I just had peanut butter and toast with banana. For lunch, I did the shrimp, cucumber, avocado, and rice boats with sriracha and mayo. I made tuna salad with canned tuna, red onion, celery, and a tablespoon of mayonnaise. Eggs and sardines on another day. And then probably my favorite meal was this really nice mixed plate of veggies, eggplant, sardines, Greek yogurt, and cottage cheese. Jean and I also had a picnic in the park one afternoon. We just grabbed some sandwiches from a local bakery. I picked a cured ham and cheese sandwich, and we also packed some chopped veggies in a little Tupperware and brought water. For our dinners this week, we did the feta tomato cauliflower pasta, which I also had for lunch the next day as well. We made the delicious fried eggplant dish again, which is basically just eggplant stuffed with tomato, mozzarella, and basil, coated in breadcrumbs and fried in a tablespoon of sunflower oil. We had a nice steak dinner one night with sweet potato fries and beet salad. The cucumber shrimp boats again. And then one night I had a basketball game that went from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I missed dinner, but I was starving when I got home. So I made myself a mixed plate of veggies, eggs, and cottage cheese. For snacks this week, I had Costco pizza, and it is painful editing this footage because oh my gosh, it looks so good. This is my first slice of pizza in 2 months. It's a long time. At Costco, we also bought these chocolate fondants, which are really high in calories. It's like 500 calories for this very small portion size. And also they were very high in sugar. So when we have them as a snack, Jean and I make sure to split one instead of each having our own individual cake. At Costco as well, I picked out some beef jerky for snacks, and Jean picked out some sweet cereal that literally tastes like Oreos. So I didn't eat them for breakfast because I'm not big on sweet cereal breakfast, but I did have them once or twice this week in 50-gram portion sizes as a snack. I also had mozzarella sticks and a cappuccino as well as an iced coffee. And I did have some healthier snacks as well, of course, like strawberries and chopped veggies pretty much throughout the entire week. And then I did go out for drinks after basketball with Jean and David, but I just ordered a sparkling water with a slice of lemon instead of a beer. For my exercise this week, I did 3 boxing sessions, which is more than normal. I typically only do 2 sessions, but I really wanted to try the women's only boxing class. But oh my gosh, it was the hardest boxing class I'd ever done in my life. I thought it would be easier in some ways just because it's mostly the men in the boxing classes that want to do the more intense combat style sparring, which most of the women don't like because you actually can get hurt when you're sparring in practice. So I was definitely expecting it to be a little bit less intense, but it was actually 10 times more intense than any other boxing class I had done. It was really crazy. I actually haven't gone back since because it was such an intense workout. I also had one basketball practice and a basketball game. I walked a little bit less this week, but I did make sure that I walked for about 15 minutes after every single meal, which I read helps to prevent your blood sugar from spiking really high. And not that I'm concerned with my blood sugar, I just think that's an added benefit, because what I'm finding is that if I walk after a meal, it really helps me with digestion and also feeling less bloated, which I love. The walking pad has honestly been such a huge part of my fitness journey, as you guys have seen over the past 9 weeks. And because I have been using the walking pad for 9 weeks consecutively, I really can confidently say that it's made such a big difference. I'm someone who works from home, and before I had this walking pad, I was used to sitting at my desk for over 8 hours a day without moving, and even my doctor said this was really not great. So yeah, honestly, I love it. And if you're also thinking about grabbing a walking pad, you can use my link, which I'll leave down below. And the code GETTHEMARGARITA, all in capitals, all together, will get you either $20 off if you're purchasing from the US or 120 euros off if you're purchasing from Europe. And there's also one more thing that I want to share that happened in week 8. Okay, hi you guys. We're about halfway through week 8. And I wanted to share a progress update on how my old clothes are fitting me, because about a week before I started this weight loss and health journey, I bought these jeans from the brand called And Other Stories. They're in a size 29, and I have the footage actually of the very first day I bought them when I tried them on, because they're part of an upcoming video. So I'll juxtapose that with how these jeans fit on me today, because they feel a little bit big. When I first bought them, they kind of hugged my hips and my thighs in a way that I thought was flattering, whereas today they're a little bit loose. I feel like I'm swimming in them sometimes, and they kind of sit more low rise, because yeah, they just don't fit my waist anymore. Okay, here we have them. Maybe a tunic top was not the right choice, but this is how they fit on my waist. They are perfect. There's like just enough give here to eat, to sit, no problem. I feel like they're giving chic. They just, oh my gosh, they just make me feel so confident. And I noticed that change at around week 3, and so I actually went on Vinted and I ordered jeans from that brand just in the size down. And I also have that footage because it's part of an upcoming Vinted video as well. And when I first received these jeans, I want to say probably 3.5 weeks ago, I couldn't button them up and I really had a hard time getting them over my hips. And now, a few weeks later, I buttoned them. They're still a little bit snug. I'll tilt the camera down so you guys can see better. Okay, so this is what they look like. Now they are a little bit snug around the hips and also when I button them up, but I think it's kind of crazy that in just a few weeks, I went from not being able to button these up to them fitting and basically having gone down an entire size in jeans. I don't know, it's kind of mind-blowing to me, to be honest. That's such a huge change, I feel. Good morning, you guys. Welcome to week 8 weigh-in. If I could summarize how I feel before I stand on the scale, I think that I have definitely lost weight. I fit into clothes that I didn't fit in before, like the jeans that I showed you guys. But at the same time, I did have a couple moments that were out of norm, like when I went to Costco and had a giant slice of pizza, or when Jean and I had a picnic and I ate almost an entire baguette of a sandwich. And that's very out of norm for me. I don't typically eat simple carbs, white flour, white bread. I really do stick to whole grain toast. And I don't really eat those huge quantities either of simple carbs. But all that being said, I did stay pretty consistent with all of my workouts. I did walk a little bit less on the walking pad, but that's just due to the nature of my work. If I'm editing photos or videos, I have to have really precise hand movements, so I can't walk while I'm doing that, and I had so many videos to edit last week. But I did still walk on the walking pad, just I maybe didn't do the 10K steps like I did in weeks prior. So I do think I've lost weight. I definitely feel slimmer, and I definitely fit into clothes that I absolutely did not like 2 weeks ago, which is really exciting. But yeah, only the scale will tell us. So let's check. As a reminder, I weighed in at 163.5 last week. 161.1. So I lost 2.4 pounds. That's crazy. Wow. I'll also quickly add that my BMI dropped from 22.6 to 22.3, and my body fat percentage dropped as well from 23.9 to 23.4. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I do think that is pretty cool. I'm definitely proud of myself for losing the weight. I will say I'm not that surprised because in week 7 I followed almost none of my workout routines and definitely did not maintain a calorie deficit. So I think it makes sense that I did lose the weight in week 8. But yeah, I'm really happy to see that all the hard work is paying off, and I'm very excited to go into week 9. Welcome to my week 9. Right off the bat, I can tell you that this was a really good week for me. My breakfast included tiramisu oats and apple baked oats, of course, as well as eggs, fruit, and toast when the oats ran out. I had a lot of cauliflower pasta for lunch this week, and one time I also added in some of the cottage cheese chips, which is literally just cottage cheese baked in the oven. I was very much obsessed with cottage cheese this week, to be honest. For example, I tried this TikTok cottage cheese flatbread recipe, which is just 1 cup of cottage cheese blended with 2 eggs and baked for 30 minutes at 350. It is so good. I used it to make a cheese and tomato sandwich one night, and it was divine. Jean made me my favorite chicken salad a few times, and we also did the cucumber, shrimp, and rice boats again. We also had baked eggplant and potatoes with tzatziki, one time with chicken and another time with steak and asparagus. When it comes to snacks, Jean and I went out for a coffee and split a cookie this weekend, and I also had tourteau 4 times this week for dessert. And then also on one day I had some black licorice. And that was it. When it comes to unhealthy treats, that was all I had last week. You might notice that I haven't had any gummies from week 7 to 9, which is different because pretty much every single week from weeks 1 to 6, I did devour a pack of gummies. And I can honestly say that from week 7 to 9, I had 0 cravings for artificial sugars, and I really hope it stays that way. My healthier snacks included lupini beans and the cottage cheese flatbread. Honestly, this stuff is addicting, and like I said, it's only 2 ingredients, eggs and cottage cheese, so it's actually a pretty healthy snack to eat. Jean also picked me up some watermelon, which is my favorite fruit. I had some goat cheese on toast, almonds, apricots, peanut butter and banana, and a cappuccino. We also went out to the movies last week with Alex and David, and I actually missed dinner because the movie started at 8, and after the movie was over, the only place that was open was Five Guys, so we all went in for burgers and fries, and then to balance out all that fast food, Jean and I biked home instead of taking the metro. When it comes to exercise, this week I did a full 7 days at the gym. I had 1 basketball practice, 3 arm and ab workouts with Jean, 2 cardio boxing classes, and 1 Muay Thai class. It's honestly been great. I really love being this active, and it's so nice that I can do all these classes at my gym. Good morning. Welcome to week 9 weigh-in. I have to say that I don't feel that much of a change in my body compared to last week, but for the first time on this whole health journey, I did 7 full workouts last week, so I feel like that has to count for something. I maybe lost a little bit of weight, but honestly, I can't really tell. I did weigh in at 161.1 last week, so it'll be interesting to stand on the scale and see where we are after 9 full weeks. $159.6. Okay, so that means last week I lost 1.5 pounds, and I'm officially in the 150s. I'll also quickly add that my BMI dropped from 22.3 to 22.1, and my body fat percentage dropped as well from 23.4 to 23.1. Now to recap the last 3 weeks, in week 7, I lost 0 pounds, in week 8, I lost 2.4, and in week 9, I lost 1.9 for a grand total of 3.9 pounds lost between weeks 7 and 9. And this is definitely lower than weeks 1 to 3, where I lost 9.1 pounds, or even weeks 4 to 6, where I lost 4.4 pounds. I would say it's normal that I lost less weight than weeks 1 to 3. I think that's kind of the outlier set of my weight loss, just because you typically do lose more weight at the start of your weight loss journey. But I would say that weeks 4 to 6 and 7 to 9 are pretty much almost identical. They're very much on par. The only difference is that in week 7, I was very sick and on vacation, so it's normal that I maintain my body weight as opposed to losing weight. In 9 weeks, I've managed to lose 17.4 pounds, weighing in at 159.6 this week, which means I'm closer than ever to my goal of 150 pounds. And honestly, I'm just so proud of myself for everything that I've accomplished. And I can tell you very honestly that this week and week 9 was the very first time that I started to fall back in love with my body, where I looked in the mirror and was genuinely so happy with what I saw. And it was so crazy because there were moments where I had to pick an outfit to go out and see friends or go out to dinner. And I was so excited to be creative and put something together that would make me feel really beautiful, as opposed to feeling absolute dread of having to sift through all of my clothes and pick between clothes that didn't fit me anymore or didn't fit me right and put an outfit together that didn't make me feel as amazing as I do today. And that just honestly makes me so happy. And I don't want to say that the number one thing that we should value about ourselves is our appearance. It really is far from that. But the fact of the matter is that over the past 9 weeks, I've made really serious lifestyle changes that have made me feel overall really great. I've definitely increased my mobility, my endurance, my cardio. Another huge thing is the severe back pain caused by my scoliosis is now next to non-existent, which is just so amazing. And because I have made all of these changes, because I'm exercising, because I'm feeding my body really healthy things that are giving me nutrients as opposed to pre-packaged treats, I'm also returning to the shape that I knew for almost my entire life, with the exception of the past couple years. And so that also brings me a lot of joy. So I really hope that coming on this weight loss and health journey with me has been fun and interesting. And I also hope that if you yourself are trying to make some lifestyle changes, whether that's increasing your exercise or eating healthier, then I hope these videos also give you a little bit of inspiration and motivation. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and also thank you so much for your support. All of the kind words you leave in my comments just means so much to me. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys on Monday on my second channel as per usual, and if not, I'll see you in a couple weeks for my next update.